The reason why self-care is so important is specifically one word: peace. Woo! Welcome one, welcome all to your space for everything empowerment. I am your host, Tariq Williams. This is the Speaker Vision Podcast. Not only I am Vision of Hope, but this is a we thing here. People have said, oh, Vision of Hope, cool, yeah, but this is a we thing. It is we are Vision of Hope, not empowerment for one, but empowerment for all. Let's get into it. So once again, you all see the title. You all know all the different things I have going on in terms of the coaching programs and all those different things. We're not even going to get into that right now. All right. Where the intro's over. There's no guest today. It's me, myself, and I. That's not how the song goes. But anyways, it's me, myself, and I on the podcast today. And we're going to discuss something very important. Now, everybody talks about, oh, yeah, self-care this, self-care that, because it's the cool thing to talk about. And I'm not going to tell you that self-care is not important. However, we are going to talk specifically why self-care is so important. Like, what is the actual reason that we're sometimes missing because I got to keep on doing the thing because I have this end goal I'm trying to get to, right? But why specifically is self-care so important? Here's the quick situation. Before I get into why self-care is so important, I'm going to get into a few stories and just paint some pictures for you all in some different situations that have happened in other people's lives, friends and clients, as well as in myself. And then from there, I'm going to discuss the specific reason why self-care is so important. And then when we don't prioritize it, what it leads to, the thoughts that happen in our lives and other people's lives, and then come down to some really strong solutions that you need to understand. But before I get into all that, like button, all that, sure. But I want to be clear about something before I get into these stories. Tariq is not going to tell you how to self-care. I may give you thoughts, I may give you some ideas, but I'm not going to tell you to self-care because, excuse me, hold on. I am going to tell you to self-care. I'm not going to tell you how to self-care. I'll give some ideas, I'll give some thoughts, but I'm not going to tell you specifically how because you know you. Okay? Self-care looks different for everyone. You know you. Therefore, you need to figure out what it is you need to do to self-care. All right? Maybe we'll come back to that a little bit later if I remember. Besides the point, nevertheless, let's get into this, why self-care is so important. So let me paint some pictures for you, okay? Now, this first story applies to a few clients. This story applies to some friends, all right? So I want to paint this picture. So when you're growing up and you're getting older, you're told to join clubs and be active, and you're in middle school, and then you want to be clubs, you want to make friends, you want to do those things. From there, you're also being told the importance of having good grades. Because when you study and you work hard, you study and you get good grades, you get the honor roll, the B's, the straight A's, you get all the things, okay? And then you're active in sports and who knows, in the different clubs or whatever. You have opportunity for scholarship. But not only opportunity for scholarship, opportunity to get into a good college, because that's what we're told, okay? And this is a specific situation. I'm going to get to the end here in a moment, but you get to the college now and you realize that you want to study, this part might not be specific, but you want to study political science, okay? And you really want to study and get the degree, and you study and you work hard and you continue getting the good grades, the A's and the B's, and you continue doing good, great things, okay? You graduate from college. After you graduate from college, because you've worked so hard and you've done great at the internships, guess what? You get the job. You get the job you were looking for in the office. And maybe you got your master's and maybe doctorate and you're a professor now, okay? And you've gotten the job that you've been looking for, that you've been working so hard to be able to get. And you're so excited that you're finally about to go into the job that you've been working for since, whether you realize it or not, that you've been working for since you were in middle school, high school, college, masters, etc. You have the job. You walk into the job on day one, and it's great. You're learning, you're there, okay? 2 weeks in, a month in, you're getting the paycheck. You're getting the paycheck, and it's great, and you're doing the thing that you always wanted to do. A month in, 2-3 months in, you're hanging in there, okay? You're hanging in there. You're doing the thing because this has to be the thing because this is what you've worked so hard to get to. A year in, you get the promotion. Because you've been working so hard, you get the promotion and you've done the thing and it's great. You get the promotion a year or so in and you've been promoted so quickly. It's amazing. You were starting to get a little bit stagnant where you were, but your hard work was noticed. Therefore, since it was noticed, it was recognized and you've been promoted. Great. And that comes with a salary bump. A year or two later, you are getting maybe some raises here or there, maybe not, but it's not the same after a couple years or so. And you start questioning, is this really what it is I wanted to do? Is this really what the dream was that I've been working towards? Hold that thought now, okay? Let me tell you all a little bit about my story, okay? I don't always want to get into the blindness stories, and I'm not going to get into the how I became blind or anything like that because we've done that already. But as you all know, I became blind once again at the age of 16. Genetic disorder that we did not know that I had. And I have to tell you all, see, this is going to sound crazy. It wasn't necessarily the specifics of vision loss that hurt, okay? It was not the loss of vision, the blindness that wasn't specifically what it was that hurt me, okay? The first part that I said would hurt quite a bit was the fact that I could tell that it hurt people around me. All right. My mom, my family, they were upset that their son, their friend, their brother was going through what they thought to be a really difficult time. And I would say there was some difficulty there, right? So that part hurt because I could tell that they were hurting for me, and I didn't want people to necessarily hurt for me, if that makes any sense. Now, the part that has nothing to do with other people is the part that I would tell you hurt the most in the moment when I was first starting to lose my vision, which was I felt like my life had to change. I felt like I could no longer do the things that I liked doing, specifically playing basketball. Okay. Basketball is my favorite sport. And so I felt a big hurt when I could no longer play basketball the way that I used to be able to play basketball. If you would have asked me, and I've told you all this before, I really thought I had a good opportunity to possibly play basketball in college. Some may believe that, some may not, but that was me. Okay. And that was really what I wanted to work towards and do. And I was like, okay, if I have a great junior year basketball season, who knows what's possible? Because I felt really good about my sophomore year playing basketball, right? But when I became blind, that changed. That changed because I could no longer do the things that I had love for, that I liked. I felt like my life had to change because my eyesight was different and I could no longer be the person that I wanted to be. But not only once again be the person that I wanted to be, but I couldn't do the things that I liked. I couldn't do the things that I loved, or take different opportunities to have fun because of my now blindness, right? You're probably wondering now, once again, the title of the episode here is Why is Self-Care So Important, right? See, you have to understand that the good grades and everything like that and all those things when it comes to school, etc., and being the best version of myself was great. But playing basketball for me was a place where I just felt so connected. Okay. I felt so connected to the person who I was when I was playing basketball. I enjoyed, I had done it for so long that it was just a great space to be in, was holding a basketball, dribbling one, and just shooting it. Okay. Now, the problem here, once again, at first I thought, and I'm going to make the connection between both stories now, between the person that worked so hard to get to that level and myself and what the blindness piece is. Okay. Now, the problem with all of this wasn't even specifically the basketball thing. The problem was the place where I found, and here's the key word here. The title of the episode is Why is Self-Care So Important? The reason why self-care is so important is specifically one word: peace. Peace. Because we all have goals, we have dreams, we have etc. But ultimately, where is the place where we find peace? And the place where Tariq found peace was on a basketball court, was holding a basketball, was dribbling a basketball, because that was fun for me. That was a place where I could just let go. I could just let go and just play the game and have fun with it. It was a place where I found peace. And now you're telling me because I'm blind now, I don't have that place anymore to find my peace. We all talk about different goals and different things that we want to get to. And that is a lot about what this podcast is all about. But if you don't have a place where you can find your peace, you're going to struggle. Everybody needs a place where they can go. If it's a person, if it's a place, if it's whatever. But I'll say this, it shouldn't be necessarily a vacation, okay? The reason why I say that, why your peace shouldn't be specifically a vacation, because that means technically you're running away from your reality. That's what really gosh, I don't even want to, I don't want this to become negative and say vacations are a negative thing, because I do believe that everybody deserves and needs vacations, and being on a beach or however you vacation is a great thing to have. But you need to have a place in your daily life where you can find peace. And for that, for me, was threatened and attacked when I became blind, because basketball is where I found the most peace, a lot of enjoyment. And that was now taken away from me because I couldn't play the way that I used to. Going back to the story that I told you that maybe some of you relate to, and a lot of my clients and friends do as well, where you at the job and you work so hard to get to the job and you're there for a few years and now you're stuck. You're like, is this really it? Is this what I worked so hard for? Is this the success that I thought I wanted and now I really don't? This is what kind of leads to burnout, but that's not specifically what I'm talking about here right now. One of the ways that we need to make sure that we don't get to the place that I just discussed is, when I talk about my story, is about finding my peace. When it comes to your workplace or whatever you do on a daily basis, it's about protecting your peace, setting the boundaries in place to protect your peace. You got to have this space where you can find your peace, and you got to have the place where you can protect your peace. And see, the thing is, when it comes to finding and protecting your peace, people aren't going to understand it the way that you are internalizing it. Because the thing is, people are going to try to tell you all these different things, and they may not understand you because nobody's going to understand you more than you. So we can talk about self-care and what it is and the importance of it, but why is it specifically so important is because your peace needs to be valued. Sure, the goals you want need to be valued. Sure, the dreams you want need to be valued. But there's something to be said for at the end of the day or in between the day, whatever that looks like, you need a place where you can find your peace for a moment, regroup, keep going. Or if you're being attacked and threatened in a certain way, you have to find a way to protect your peace and know where to set the boundary, know where to find your peace and know where to protect it. And see, we get so caught up in where the world says that we have to be. Right? Oh, I'm 18, 19 years old now. I should be in college. Oh, I'm 19, 21, 22 years old now. I should be graduating from college and getting my master's degree. This is what I should and need to be doing. Okay. I'm 30 years old now, so I should have bought a house by now, or I should be married, or I should be this, I should be that. Here's the situation. You're not on the world's timeline. You're on your timeline. Don't worry about what people say or other people's opinions or all those different things, because people are going to say a lot of things that aren't going to serve you. So don't worry about what people say. Worry about what you do. And while you're doing that, make sure you're finding time to protect and find your peace. So let me answer this question. How did I find my peace throughout my blindness and learning more about what that situation looked like? I almost gave you all the answer. How did I find my peace? Internally, I recognized that I was still the same person. I'm still allowed to like the same things, but not only that, I'm still allowed to evolve as a person and take that situation that I was going through and find a way to make me better, make me feel whole again. So I found another outlet. That's how I started working out more and going to the gym. And now it's creating and on the podcast. And there's so many great things happening right now that I'm able to just internalize and find ways to continue to find my peace, protect it when I'm in stressful situations, but then find a way to move forward through all of it and continue evolving. Because here's the situation. For me, it was basketball. And finding ways to protect that peace would mean finding time to protect the time for myself to make time to go do that, right? Now, for other people, it's going to be different. Once again, I'm not going to tell you how to do it because it's going to be different for everyone. However, the way that you find and protect your peace, that part can change. For me, it went from basketball to lifting weights, to writing a bit more, to writing poetry, to then after that, just finding ways to be able to empower other people. And now it's here on this podcast where we've had people in over 45 countries listen to, which makes me feel good and I feel validated. However, validations for parking. All right. I don't necessarily need to feel validated because I have my peace. I have found my peace. I also protect my peace. I put the boundaries in place to be able to protect it. And so for the person that's listening to this, that has gone through the job, the school, the internship, gotten the job, got promoted at the job, and then after that got better at the job, but then it's like, oh, is this it? Is this where I'm at? Somewhere along the way in those stressful moments, you did not sit back and find a way to consistently and sustainably protect your peace. And once again, this is why self-care is so important. And this isn't just once every 6, 8, 9 months thing, because that's vacation. We're not running away from our reality. We're making our reality excellent. We're making our reality a place where we love being. So you have to find the thing on a consistent basis, weekly, daily, hourly, whatever it looks like, okay? Check in with yourself and make sure you're okay. And that is why self-care is so important. Find your peace and protect your peace, because it is yours. We're all at a very interesting place, okay? We're all at an interesting place because I'm going to answer a question here to really begin to wrap this all up. We are towards the end of the episode, but one thing I need you all to understand, because I don't want this to feel incomplete by any means. And if we have to talk about it again, please leave a comment or anything like that. I would love to go even deeper if we feel like we need that, if I missed something. But I think part of the problem is there's two things here. Because I was wondering here, well, this feels obvious. This feels needed. Why do we not find our peace where it's at consistently, and why don't we protect it? And so there's a few different reasons here. And I'm just going to kind of go off the list here, because this is not necessarily in any particular order. This is about you. Maybe you believe that the goal or what have you that you're working towards is more important than your peace. But the problem is the goal or the dream that you're working towards isn't more important than your peace. It needs to work with your peace. The goal, the dream, and peace, they all have to work together. Because if they don't work together, by the time you get to the dream, you're going to be burnt out, tired, etc. The other piece to this, why you're not finding your peace and protecting your peace, is maybe you don't think you're worth it. Maybe you don't think your peace is important. Maybe you don't think your peace is needed, and you're not prioritizing it because you don't think you're enough. But I have to leave you all with this, because I'll tell you what, with my blindness, right, before I became blind, I never told anyone, hey, my name's Tariq Williams. I have 20/20 vision. Nice to meet you. So why would I say, hi, I'm Tariq Williams. I'm blind, da, 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 because like blindness defines me. Like it has to be the specific thing that defines me. I use my blindness here on this podcast to explain a lot of different things to you in my vulnerable, authentic way, because what I go through, but blindness doesn't define me. However, there was a space in time where I thought that blindness did define me, and I thought that I wasn't enough because I couldn't see like everybody else. But what I will tell you is that I've learned more about me. I've learned more about the growth of Tariq. And guess what? I am enough. I am worth having peace. And so are you. Not only I am Vision of Hope, but we are Vision of Hope. This is the Speak Your Vision podcast. This is your space for everything empowerment. You are the listener. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. Find and protect your peace. Let's get it.